In the heart of Africa's ancient past lies a world of forgotten darkness, spirits and demons that once ruled the fears of kingdoms long lost to time. From the shape-shifting forest fiends of West Africa to the soul-devouring shadows of the Congo, these beings haunted dreams and demanded offerings to keep chaos at bay. But who were these demons, and why have their names vanished from history? Join us as we uncover the forgotten demons of African mythology, creatures of fire, blood, and spirit that reveal the untold side of Africa's most mysterious myths. Prepare to descend into the unseen. The forgotten demons of African mythology. When people think of demons, their minds often drift to the infernal images of Western religion, horned beasts from the underworld or fallen angels cast out of heaven. But across the vast expanse of Africa, where myth and history intertwine beneath the burning sun, a different kind of darkness has always existed, one older, more spiritual, and deeply tied to the land itself. African demonology does not fit easily into the Western mold of evil spirits. Instead, it emerges from ancestral cosmologies, spiritual balance, and moral consequence. These are not mere monsters, they are manifestations of chaos, disease, greed, and human wrongdoing. Yet, as colonial religion spread across the continent, many of these ancient beings, once feared, respected, and appeased, were forgotten, erased, or reinterpreted as devils. This is the story of the forgotten demons of African mythology, the spirits of shadow that still whisper in the corners of forgotten temples and untamed wilderness. 1. The African view of demons, spirits, not devils. To understand African demons, one must first abandon the Western notion of absolute evil. In many African belief systems, the world is balanced between visible and invisible realms. Humans, animals, ancestors, and spirits coexist within a cosmic order maintained through rituals and moral harmony. When that balance is broken, malevolent spirits, what some might call the demons, emerge. In African cosmology, these entities are often spirits of the dead who have been denied rest, elemental or nature spirits angered by human disrespect, entities born from curses, sorcery, or taboo breaking, servants of greater gods or deities of misfortune. Their existence serves as a moral mirror, a reminder that chaos comes when harmony is lost. Yet despite their spiritual importance, many of these beings have faded from modern awareness. 2. The Ads, the vampire spirit of the Yu. Among the Yu people of Togo and Ghana, one of the most feared supernatural beings is the Ads, a vampiric entity that blurs the line between witchcraft and demonic possession. The Ads can take the form of a firefly, glowing faintly as it drifts through the night. But if captured, it transforms into a human-like creature with glowing red eyes and razor-sharp teeth. It hungers not for blood, but for life essence, which it drinks from its victims as they sleep. Victims of the Ads grow weak, pale, and sickly, signs often associated with witchcraft or spirit possession. The creature is especially drawn to the jealousy and envy within a community, feeding on human emotions as much as flesh. In Yu tradition, the Ads embodies the spiritual corruption of envy and hatred. It is not purely evil, it reflects human weakness, showing how unchecked jealousy can literally invite a demon into one's life. 3. The Impundulu, the lightning bird of the south. In the myths of the Xhosa and Zulu peoples of southern Africa, there exists a terrifying being known as the Impundulu, or lightning bird. It serves witches and sorcerers, bringing storms and death wherever it flies. The Impundulu is said to appear as a massive black and white bird, its feathers crackling with lightning. When it beats its wings, thunder roars across the sky. It drinks human blood, much like a vampire, and can transform into a handsome young man to seduce its victims, especially women. But unlike typical demons, the Impundulu is also a familiar spirit. A witch can keep it as a servant, feeding it blood in exchange for power. The bird never dies, it passes from master to master, carrying generations of dark energy. Its symbolism runs deep, it represents the destructive power of nature and the human desire to control forces beyond comprehension. In a way, the Impundulu is both pet and parasite, reflecting the thin line between using power and being consumed by it. 4. The Tokolosh, the mischievous demon of the night. Among the Zulu, Xhosa, and Sotho peoples, few creatures inspire as much fear or dark humor as the Tokolosh. Often described as a small, hairy humanoid with long fingers, glowing eyes, and a grotesque face, the Tokolosh is a mischievous but deadly spirit that preys on the sleeping. The Tokolosh can become invisible by drinking water or eating ashes. It sneaks into homes at night, choking sleepers or performing obscene acts. In many rural areas, people still raise their beds on bricks to keep the Tokolosh from reaching them. Yet, beneath its almost comical reputation lies something deeper. The Tokolosh represents hidden corruption, lust, and moral decay. It is often said to be summoned by jealous individuals through witchcraft to torment enemies. In some stories, the Tokolosh is even bound to a witch's will through ritual sacrifice. Its persistence in modern African folklore, appearing in films, urban legends, and even court cases, shows how ancient beliefs adapt to modern fears. The Tokolosh may have begun as a village spirit, but today, it is a symbol of unseen evil in a changing world. 5. The Obeafo, the Ashanti energy vampire. In the forests of Ghana and Ivory Coast, the Ashanti people tell tales of the Obeafo, a witch-like demon that feeds on human energy and crops. Similar to the European vampire, the Obeafo leaves its body at night, glowing with eerie light as it drifts through the darkness. It is drawn to children and the young, symbols of life's vitality, and to thriving farms, draining the life from both. When a child or field suddenly withers, villagers once said the Obeafo had passed. Unlike the Western vampire, the Obeafo is not always a separate creature, it may be a human possessed or corrupted by dark magic. Its existence warns against greed and selfish ambition, especially among those who seek power at the expense of others. In many Ashanti tales, the Obeafo's power can only be broken through ritual confession or purification, reminding the community that even evil spirits can be cleansed when truth is restored. 6. The Inkanyamba, the serpent of the storm. From the Zulu and Xhosa traditions comes the Inkanyamba, a serpent demon associated with storms, whirlwinds, and floods. Said to dwell in deep pools and waterfalls, it appears as a gigantic serpent with the head of a horse, its eyes glowing with lightning. The Inkanyamba is said to control the weather, its rage bringing violent storms. When the rains are late or the floods destroy crops, elders warn that someone has angered the spirit. Its myth echoes across southern Africa, a warning about respect for nature's power. The Inkanyamba is not evil for the sake of evil, it punishes arrogance and neglect. Its fury reflects the environmental consciousness of ancient African societies, where natural disasters were seen as signs of spiritual imbalance. In this sense, the Inkanyamba is a demon of divine justice, a destructive but necessary force that restores balance when humanity forgets humility. 7. The bush spirits, guardians turned dark. Across Central and West Africa, countless tribes speak of forest spirits, once protectors of nature, that have turned hostile due to human greed and deforestation. These beings, known by many names, Aziza, Mokel, Nuzu, or Bisimbai, were once considered guides and teachers. But when people began exploiting the land, the spirits grew vengeful, transforming into demonic forces that haunt the wilderness. Travelers who disrespect the forest, cutting sacred trees, polluting rivers, or killing animals carelessly, risk being dragged into the spirit realm or struck with madness. These demons reveal a profound ecological message: when humanity breaks its covenant with nature, nature itself becomes the monster. In modern times, such stories remain as warnings against environmental destruction. The forgotten bush spirits remind us that the earth remembers every act of disrespect. 8. The Abiku and Ogbanj, spirits of the dying children. In Yoruba and Igbo mythology, there exist child spirits known as Abiku, Yoruba, or Ogbanj, Igbo, restless beings who are born only to die young, returning again and again to torment their grieving families. These spirits are not demons in the Western sense but spiritual tricksters, beings caught between the worlds of life and death. They cause endless cycles of suffering, as each new child born to the same mother dies mysteriously. To break the curse, spiritual healers would perform rituals, sometimes marking the child's body or burying charms to trap the spirit. The Abiku and Ogbanj myths explore the deep pain of infant mortality, but they also carry metaphysical depth. They represent the struggle between destiny and free will, and humanity's desperate attempt to understand life's cruel mysteries. These spirits are forgotten demons not because they are unseen, but because their meaning has been lost, a reflection on grief, fate, and the unseen forces that shape human existence. 9. The Grootslang, the serpent of endless greed. In South African legend, particularly among the Khorasan and local miners near the Richtersveld, there is a demon older than mankind, the Grootslang, or Great Snake. According to myth, the Grootslang was one of the first creatures the gods created, a combination of elephant and serpent. When they realized it was too powerful, they tried to destroy it, but one escaped, retreating into the caves of the earth. The Grootslang dwells in the bottomless cave, guarding treasures of gold and gems. Those who enter seeking wealth are never seen again. The creature is both a monster and a metaphor. It represents insatiable greed. It tempts humans with riches, only to devour them. In this sense, the Grootslang is the African counterpart to the dragon, a demon of material corruption. Even today, the legend endures among miners who fear that greed itself awakens the ancient serpent. 10. Forgotten but not gone, the legacy of African demonology. Many of these demons have faded from modern consciousness, overshadowed by imported religious systems. Yet their stories survive in whispers, rituals, and folk beliefs that still influence African spirituality. Colonial missionaries often labeled all indigenous spirits as devils, erasing centuries of cultural understanding. But in truth, African demonology is not about hellfire, it is about balance. Every spirit, even the darkest, has a purpose: to maintain moral and natural order. When crops fail, when storms rage, or when envy consumes a community, these forgotten demons remind people of their responsibility to the unseen world. They are mirrors of the human soul, reflections of pride, greed, and anger that manifest as living forces. Their forgetting is not just cultural loss, it is a spiritual silence. These beings once served as storytellers, moral teachers, and protectors against arrogance. Their disappearance leaves a void in understanding the African relationship between humanity, nature, and spirit. The return of the shadows. The forgotten demons of African mythology are more than relics of superstition, they are voices of a wisdom older than civilization itself. Each one tells a story about human flaws, the power of nature, and the sacred balance that binds all life. From the Adze, who feeds on jealousy, to the Grootslang, who devours greed, these entities embody lessons that remain painfully relevant in the modern world. Their myths teach that evil is not an external enemy but a reflection of the disorder within us, and that forgetting them means forgetting a part of our own moral compass. As Africa modernizes and urban legends replace ancient myths, perhaps it is time to listen once more to these ancient whispers, to remember that the shadows beneath the sun still live, waiting to be acknowledged, respected, and understood. The shadows of Africa's forgotten demons still whisper through the winds, echoing tales of fear, power, and divine balance. These ancient spirits remind us that mythology is more than legend, it's the heartbeat of ancestral memory. If you enjoyed exploring the hidden side of Africa's mythic underworld, make sure to like, subscribe, and share this video to keep these stories alive. Tell us in the comments which forgotten demon intrigued you the most, and what myths you'd like us to uncover next. Until then, remember, some legends were never meant to be forgotten, they were only waiting to be rediscovered.